Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
We had to play this song. Let's just listen for a sec. So appropriate. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the first forever AfterBuzz TV after show, season 1, episode 1. We got a lot to cover. 2 episodes, the pilot and episode 2 is called Look Before You Leap. I'm your host, Kate Aquilano, joined by my lovely co-host,
Hegarad. Hey guys, I'm Kristen Strange.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Mandel.
you guys. So much to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed both episodes as much as we did. First, I just want to do like a overall characters, plot. Let's just get into it. I want you to say his name. Dr. Henry Morgan, played by
Ioan Gruffudd.
I could not do that. No.
It's spelled like Ioan, but it's pronounced Ioan.
Let's be real, it's Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic, exactly.
I just want to listen to him talk
that
all
accent.
day.
You know, I remembered he was the guy from Titanic. Remember the guy that like shot himself?
No.
He was like trying to get everybody on the lifeboats, and he's like, "Keep order, I say," and he like blasted
Really?
himself.
I remember.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he looks so familiar.
I love him. I do love him for being Mr. Fantastic. Okay, so he's 200 years old. We get some backstory. He cannot die. What I was curious about the first episode was like, who gave him this curse?
Yeah.
And how did he get it? I feel like they kind of glossed over
My
that.
question was, why is it 35? Well, like, if he was immortal, like, did he just get to 35 and then they were like,
Good
stop?
point.
Like, why wasn't it younger or older?
Well, I think it happened when he was on the ship, because that was the first of his deaths, when he was there trying to save the slave on the ship. And then something with his watch. I think it has to be something with his watch and something with the lightning.
Theories.
Is it always lightning when he dies?
But the first time.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
We should pay attention to that, though.
Yeah.
it was very pronounced.
Okay. So he's 200 years old. He can't die. He has immortality, and he's kind of obsessed with death. And so he is the New York City medical examiner. And he kind of has he just kind of studies death because he wants to die, basically.
Another note on when you're like, why 35?
Yeah.
Why 35? He was 35 around Fantastic Four time. Let's be real.
He's just always going to be 35. He's actually really immortal in real life.
Actually.
What's his name?
Ioan.
Ioan is immortal in real life. So he's going to be 35 forever.
I know. Give us some tips on that skincare. You're looking good. And then Abe is played by Judd Hirsch, who I love. Independence Day. Come on, guys.
He's so cute.
I love him. So in the first episode, we get that he is actually his adopted son.
So cute.
I had an issue with that, though.
Why?
I love that he adopted him. It's not that. But Abigail, like his love, said she found him in a camp, a concentration camp. So Abe's Jewish.
Yes.
This was during World War II. He was found in a concentration camp when when they were all being freed. But history will tell us that they did not save the babies in concentration. They weren't just hanging out there.
Right.
Like, when you went into a concentration camp, if you were a baby, you died. If you were a baby or a child or
That's true.
and someone who couldn't work, you were killed immediately. Right. You know, they separated you. So I was like, how did that happen?
Yeah, they wouldn't have kept him around long enough to give him a tattoo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be
just
like,
what I was
sorry,
gonna
you're
say.
out.
So ABC just kind of get.
We're on to you.
I need some more information on why he was there.
That's the part of the episodes that I really love are the flashbacks.
I
and
know.
I hope
They're
those
so nice, yeah.
they'll continue.
Let's just make them historically correct.
I got you. So he's there. He's the only one that knows his secret. It's like were you saying who said when he kissed him on the forehead or
Oh,
on
I
the
said
head?
yeah.
I
It
was.
was cute though.
It was cute and weird at the same time. It was a
same
mixture of cute and weird, and I was like, "That's so sweet," but that's a little weird because I thought that he was your grandpa or
No.
or
I thought
anybody
it was
else.
really
would.
endearing.
Yeah.
His son. It's just cute. He like always has his back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, oh, you should not isolate yourself. Go alone again.
Right.
You know, just try to make some friends this time. Get to know people. And
I know. He said something in the first episode that I thought was really nice. He said, "You know, you've been alive for a long time, but you haven't lived for a long
yeah,
time."
That was
Right.
cute.
And I was like, "Yeah, Abe, you're right.
He's the wise one.
He hasn't lived."
Old wise man.
I
Which
know.
is interesting as a son. If he's a son, but now they've got like a role reversal.
Yeah.
Throughout his whole life, then, you know, Henry had been raising him, but
Right.
now Abe is at an age where he's given him advice. Like, listen, man.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. Then the other main character is I can't say the word.
Detective.
Martinez. I'm sorry. I do not. Does anyone know
Joe.
Joe.
who plays her?
Oh, who plays her?
But she was on
I'm sorry.
CSI
We'll just call her Joe
SCV.
Martinez.
Was she?
She was.
So she's a veteran detective.
Yeah, she's good at this whole mystery solving thing.
Yeah.
Really.
She's got a history. Background on her. Her husband just died. Heart attack.
I am suspicious about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Do you think he's gonna go into like a cold case and figure stuff out?
Here's my thing. Yeah, because here's my thing. She said when she first walks in to see the conductor on the subway train, she's like, he had a heart attack, right? And she's like, no. And then she's like, oh, my husband had a heart attack. Why do you think that everyone has heart attacks? I mean, not everybody dies of heart attacks. I don't
Could
think.
come up.
It just sounds a little. She was just like, oh yeah, he was in Washington for a deposition and he decided to go for a run on the treadmill and
Yeah.
he had a heart attack. And he was like 30.
Yeah.
So I don't really believe that he had a heart attack. I think that there's more to the story that, we're going to find out.
That would be a good story to follow down the line.
I think that, well, I'll save that for predictions.
So she's also developed, dealing with this tragedy, she's developed kind of a drinking problem, which Dr. Morgan picks up on right away. But now she's come to kind of rely on him to solve these cases.
Yeah.
And then kind of like our fourth main character is Lucas, who is Dr. Morgan's assistant at the morgue,
So
played by
adorable.
Joel David Moore. Where's he from? Because he looks familiar.
He
does.
I knew it. Oh,
Tell us. Tweet us.
yeah. He
I'll
is
look it
from
up.
something fairly popular. He's nice though. He has like the comedic relief
Exactly.
for the show, which
Yeah.
we need when there's all these dead bodies around.
Yeah.
Was he the guy in Avatar?
Yes,
He
that's what it was
was.
from. It was
He
Avatar.
was.
Yeah.
Avatar.
Good one.
So those are kind of our main characters, right?
Yeah.
Am I missing any?
We have the new detective
Hanson. Detective
Hanson
Hanson.
and the lieutenant played by
Lorraine Dusant.
Lorraine Dusant, who was in Orange is the New
Gotcha.
Black.
That
I
made
think
me
that
nervous
they're
when-
kind of new.
Oh, and then
She
we
came on the
have-
screen and I got nervous. I was like, B is back.
Well, she's kind of a hard ass in this show too, so you should remain nervous.
Yeah.
We also have the fan.
Oh.
The fan. Or
I know.
Adam. As
We saw his
he is
hand.
Now. Yeah.
Hanson. Yeah. That
looks old.
he could definitely be a main character because that storyline is gonna go the whole season. I'll predict
yeah.
that right now. But basically, like I said, they come into contact, Detective and Dr. Morgan, and now they kind of, throughout the season, they're going to work together, solve cases. And it's a procedural, so we know they're all going to kind of tie up in a nice little bow. But that's okay. We still love it. So why don't we jump into episode 1? We probably won't have a lot of time to jump into them completely because there's 2 of them. But so I'm trying to like black out what happened tonight and what happened yesterday.
Can we start from like in the beginning? When
Yeah, do it.
they were on the train and the girl going to her, what was it, performance?
Yeah.
The Russian girl, the subway. How creepy was that? Like he predicted everything about her,
Yeah.
and the girl was just like, "Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go
you want to
get a
go get some
drink."
drinks?" And I was like, "Who does that?
Wouldn't you
Like,
be really creeped
I
out
would
by
be
that?
so creeped out. Like, get away from me."
I used to live in New York, and if I rode the subway and someone talked to me, I was
Yeah.
creeped out.
Like-
So if you were talking to me and you knew everything about me, I would have gotten off at the next
Yeah,
exit.
like,
That
totally
I would not have been like,
creepy.
you know everything about me. We should get a drink. Clearly, you're stalking me.
Yeah.
It was a little creepy.
Even if it
A
was as
lot.
dreamy as he was.
Well,
Still,
I don't know. If you have an accent, I'd probably forget that you were stalking.
We can get drinks. Okay, so they're on the subway. It crashes. Of course, everyone dies except him. We didn't say that when he dies, he disappears and then shows up naked in water. It's a little weird tidbit that the story.
Because he always is reborn in water because when he first died, he went into water.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Interesting.
But he wasn't naked.
Yeah, when he died, he wasn't naked.
But we don't know what he was when he was reborn.
He's
He might have been naked then, probably.
naked.
Which I think is the key point of this show is that he's naked.
I think
All
that
the
that's
time.
their big drawing point.
We can focus on that. That could be a plot point that we focus on.
No, and if you really want this
How many
role, you got to be naked the entire time.
How many times is he naked in this episode?
Yeah.
We'll keep a tally.
I know we need to keep a tally of how many times he's died. What was
Yeah.
it? Is it up to
So
like
far,
4?
he's died. He died on the subway.
He died when they put the blood in him.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think that was all in the first one, and then
Oh,
he
he
died
jumped off the building.
Oh, he jumped off the
3
building.
times, and then 1 time in the second
He died
episode.
when he got hit by the car.
Let's write. Someone have a pen. Write
so
that down.
4.
4 so far. We'll
Yeah.
keep track of that
4
for you
deaths.
guys. So everyone thinks this isn't going to be a homicide because conductor probably just had a heart attack. They
Because everyone has heart
Everyone
attacks.
has heart
here,
attacks.
apparently.
They go to Dr. Morgan, and he realizes he was poisoned because there's like some stuff around the lungs.
Foam.
Because
Yeah.
he
Injection
knows
point.
everything.
I know. That's what I kind of love about it because
Yeah.
everyone's like just takes it like he knows everything, and people are just like, oh, that's cool, you knew that. Like, how do you know? Like, no one
Yeah,
really
nobody-
questions.
Exactly.
Well, I feel that there's the one detective who's going to be the questioning guy. Was
Yeah.
it Hansen?
Hansen?
Yeah, I feel like he's the suspicious folk.
Like, how does he know this?
And because he wants to just wrap up cases, and he doesn't really want to have to work hard for them. And I think that Henry is making it hard because he's like, no, this was a murder, this was a homicide, this was this. You want to write it off as
Suicide. And
as
it's not.
something that's simple and
Yeah. So Martinez comes and talks to him, and he's like, she's like, are you sure wasn't an accident? Because now I have 15 homicides that I have to solve. And he's like, I'm sure. And I'm jumping ahead. Like I said, we don't
they
have that
share
much time.
some chemistry.
They have some chemistry. But then I was really confused about the blood that he was putting in, like this talent that he has. If he experienced the way someone dies, he like put the conductor's blood into him.
Right.
because
like-
he's been through so many deaths.
He like
I feel like he
finds
remembers
stuff
them.
out by dying in the same way.
I think he's a doctor, so he knows he's the chemical side of it, so he studied it, so he knew, okay, if it does this to my body and I feel this when I die,
Oh.
because he was talking about another kind of poison that could have been used that would have made him die slower. But this was
Yeah.
very quick, so he said, oh, automatically I know
knew.
it was whatever.
Got it.
I didn't write down the name of it because
And he was using his notebook, like in the first episode, they showed him writing in his notebook specific notes about like,
Yeah.
all right, I died in a new way. I got stabbed in the heart by
Yeah,
a train
he
thing.
keeps-
so he's like tracking
Right.
every time he's dying.
So then he goes back to the body because he realizes this is the type of poison it was, but it had to have been injected. So they find like an injection wound behind the ear, and they also find a fingerprint of Hans Kohler.
Yeah.
Issue with that.
Yeah, what's up?
So, Hans Kohler, the detective, says he has no past arrests and no criminal record. They would not have had his fingerprint on file to track it.
Wow,
unless,
that is such a good catch.
unless he had, for some reason, worked with children, so he had to be like live scanned. I don't know. Or there's no reason for him to have his fingerprint on file. They couldn't have tracked it.
That's absolutely nice. He could have served in the military.
That's true. I guess.
true.
Do you have to? I didn't know.
You have to get fingerprinted,
yeah.
but they have to. It's not in like the criminal database. You have to do it through
He
like a
looks
military.
like he was like a contractor. I don't know. He didn't seem to me like he was working with kids in any way. I mean, I might be wrong. Maybe he
No,
was a
that's a
kindergarten
really
teacher.
good
I don't
catch.
know.
Yeah.
But I have disbelief that his fingerprint was in the system. So
Well, because it's episode 1, there was so much like just basic setup. There wasn't a lot of time. It was very like straightforward in this case is what I'm getting at, because they had all this other stuff to set up. So they go to this guy's house and they find the plants like
Yeah.
right away. It's like very like bam, bam, bam.
yeah.
And then he comes home, Hans Kohler, and gets away by throwing some poison on Martinez. but basically they know who it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But Dr. Morgan thinks someone else is behind it, the Adam dude.
I think he thinks that he is the
Is
Adam
Adam.
dude at that point.
Yeah. And then he finds the zodiac, the picture of like the Pisces and the
Yeah.
and then they track it to Grand Central, right?
Yeah.
Which was really fun in Grand Central Station when there's the violin player. Who's actually my friend.
No way!
Yeah. It was
That's
Janice
awesome.
Piccone, and I was like,
Wait,
There she
does she actually play violin in Grand Central, or was she
She's an actress.
Oh, okay.
Does she actually play the violin?
that I'm not sure, but she's a fantastic singer, so I wouldn't be surprised if she also played musical instruments.
Fun fact.
Yes.
Love that.
Always surprising when you see your friends in
Yeah.
shows, and you're like, yeah, get 'em.
Hey, I know you.
I was also wondering because she told Dr. Morgan, we don't have a search warrant. You can't go back there. So you're not allowed to use any of that evidence if you just stumble upon it.
Oh, but you know what he
I
said?
guess-
The rat, because he was like foaming at the
Yeah.
mouth, he died of poison.
But they still didn't have
right.
a warrant.
Well, it's like probable
Probable
cause.
Oh, okay.
I mean, is that probable cause? I don't know.
We could
But-
say that it was. I'll accept that.
We'll go forward. Okay.
Yeah.
So they go to Grand Central Station because, like you said, they find the stuff on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he realizes quickly that the air conditioning is on.
It's a chilly night.
But it
Why is
just-
the air on?
Exactly. And so then
Great accent.
of course he knows that the air conditioning is on the roof. He just knows these things.
knows.
And like I said to you guys before, they enter Grand Central Station with like 30 cops.
Yeah.
But when they get on the roof, it's just him and Martinez.
Where's the backup?
At that point, they should have been like, guys, there's stuff going on the roof. Some of you stay here. Some of you come
Some
with
of
us.
you come with us.
Split up.
Never.
No.
Never.
Doesn't work for the story.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because then someone would have seen.
Exactly. Do you think she'll have? Okay, so I'm jumping ahead. They find Kohler. Martinez gets shot. He tries. Dr. Morgan also gets shot,
But he kills
him by jumping off the roof with him. 'Cause
And
obviously,
can I mention real quick
Yeah.
how, is it Hans is our bad guy
Yes.
there?
Yes.
Could take a wrench to the face with no problem.
he did?
He got hit in the head with the wrench, and then he was like,
He's like, whatever.
no, man, this isn't going to happen.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
Hans. I mean, that name itself.
Hans.
Hans.
Yeah.
It's very manly.
Yeah, it is very manly.
But my question is, do you think Martinez is not completely knocked out from the gunshot wound, and she hazily sees him jump off the roof, but obviously he would have been dead if that actually
Yeah.
happened. Do you think she'll have some flashbacks, or like she'll start to remember more down the line?
I think she'll piece it together. I think that will happen more.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, wait, you should have died there, but you didn't die. I thought I saw this. And then she'll go back, you fell off the roof and this and this and this. And then she'll find
and
out.
have like a list of
And then they'll
occurrences.
probably like get together and like
Mm-hmm.
she'll find out and he'll be like, do you still love me? And she'll be like, yes. And-
Yeah, 'cause she's already kind of skeptical, isn't she, when she was in the hospital?
Yeah.
She's like, you're not telling me something. You're hiding something from me. Like, I know
Yeah.
something's up.
I
Yeah.
don't think she expects what she thinks that
Right.
what it actually is, but I think she expects that he's more mysterious than he's letting on.
Yeah. I definitely think that's gonna come up, and like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, have a list. But they're in Martinez's hospital room. She's gonna be fine. One thing I don't like, we talked about on Musketeers, a panel that I did last season, is that injuries don't carry over. Like if she was shot last episode,
Yeah,
she
wouldn't
should
she
have
be-
like her arm in a sling,
Yeah.
or like make like a movement, like, oh, I'm still sore.
Yeah.
It's just like a pet peeve of mine.
She heals quickly. It's her superpower.
It's her curse.
Green
She just
smoothies.
heals quickly.
But he gets a call in her hospital room from Adam, and you're just like, how does this guy know where he is at all
That's-
times?
That's creepy.
That's what I'm wondering. He's literally got to be following. I mean, I guess he said this episode he's been around for 2,000 years, so he's got nothing better to do. He's done
I
everything
know, but
else.
Yeah.
everywhere he goes, and you know how observant Dr. Morgan is.
Right? He would
How
know
does
this.
he
He
not
would have
pick
caught
the-
on. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm not
Maybe
buying
he doesn't
it.
expect that he's a stalker. I don't know.
I
He's,
would
like,
stalk him.
obsessed.
I know.
Yeah.
I would probably. Yeah. A little bit.
And then it closes with we find out about Abe, which we talked about at the beginning of the after show, and then Martinez returns the stopwatch. So the stopwatch definitely means something more. Not it's obviously sentimental, but does it hold like a different clue?
Well, especially with the fantastic line when the cops find it in the train, and what does he say? He says, "The clock's still ticking," and then some other guy's like, "Can't say the same for the guy who owned it."
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Wow.
Love it.
I wonder if like they get rid of the watch, like his curse will be broken. Do you think so? Like
They
they
break it.
break it, burn it, something. As long as like that's ticking, his life is ticking.
That's an interesting
Ooh.
one.
Yeah.
Theories. Maybe that's how the whole. I mean, like I'm hoping seasons down the line. 'Cause
They
I
just like
this show.
smash the
they
watch.
smash it, and that's how
That's
the
all
series
it took.
ends.
Yeah.
After all of
He
that,
just like melts away.
I love it. So that was the pilot. Obviously, again, a lot of setup.
Yeah. We're forgetting about Abigail,
Let's talk about
Oh,
Abigail.
Abigail.
his lover.
So she's the one that kind of showed. She was a nurse during the war as
It
well.
seems like
Looked
it,
like-
yeah.
And she's the one that finds the baby or brings the baby to them, and they fall in love.
Yeah. He was looking at her. It was one of those moments that never happens in real life.
Yeah, ever.
Where
motion.
she's holding a baby and she turns around and he's like,
It's like a glowing light. It's like a spotlight. That's never gonna happen.
I don't think that's ever happened in my
Ever.
life. Yeah.
But
Maybe one
yeah,
day.
she's also a reoccurring character because we see her in a lot of the
Flashbacks.
flashbacks.
And we kind of got a little glimpse of her, a little more information where he said this episode should be 94. And Abe said she's never coming back. But he seems like he still has hope for her. So
Yeah.
I kind of think she didn't die.
She just left them.
She just left them. Or something happened where she was made to go away and it wasn't because she died.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she did. I don't
That
know.
would be interesting if she popped up.
Right?
my
But it
gosh.
should be 94.
94.
It's okay. People live to past 100 these days.
That's true.
She's got years.
He's a doctor too. He could help her out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, let's go to episode 2, which was entitled "Look Before You Leap." It starts with a woman in the backseat of a taxi freaking out, trying to reach someone on the cell phone, and then she jumps out of the taxi in the middle of a bridge, and you think that she jumps off the bridge to kill herself, but that would be too easy.
But the
Nope.
plot thickens.
Yes. We find out her name is Vicky Hillquist. And of course, the Detective Hansen was like, dude, it's a suicide. Let's go home early. And Dr. Morgan is like, no, think again. And gave all these like lists of reasons why. That's like my favorite part when he's like, this happened and this happened and this happened. If your experience says any different, like weigh in, but then this happened. And
Yeah,
this
it's like
happened.
rapid fire, like boom.
No one
Like,
can
there's-
compete with
yeah.
that.
He's like, you might think you're right, but I know I'm right. But you can say I'm not.
Yeah.
But I am.
Right.
Which him doing that fills the hole in my soul that Sherlock has left behind.
Yeah.
And then we find out like a little tidbit about him that he never talks to the families. And when her parents come in, he kind of not willingly, but ends up talking to them and becomes like emotionally involved. So I wonder what happened to kind of make him stop doing that, or he just doesn't want to deal with it because he's been alive so many years.
Yeah, I feel like he just in general runs away from emotion. Like he doesn't want to make friends or have be close to family or anything. So
I think that's
it scares him.
yeah. I think that's why, because he doesn't want to get close to people anymore because he will outlive all of them,
and
Right.
it's just his defense
and it's
mechanism.
so hard for him
To
to
lose.
Yeah, which is why I find it strange that he decided to adopt a baby.
Mm-hmm. I think in this episode when he leaves, I think he was leaving not only Abigail, but I don't know if they adopted him yet, but he was probably leaving the baby as well because it'd be too hard.
Yeah.
So maybe she convinced him that, to stay, obviously,
right.
and we know how that went. So then, my favorite part was Abe's eHarmony date.
Yes.
Oh my
I just want to
gosh.
mention that because that's amazing.
His photo.
It was so good. No one looks like they do in their online profile.
Yeah. It's like his headshot from Taxi.
I feel so bad that he doesn't have a woman of his own.
I know,
He's
but
what, 60s, in his 60s,
65,
I
I
think?
think.
65.
Yeah.
But do you think he never has because of his situation?
Yeah, that makes me sad though that he never got to find love because of his father.
Well, there was indication that they've been on the run
That's
pretty
true.
often.
Yeah.
So
maybe
that's
he's
why.
had a few girlfriends. I'll just for my sake
He's had a few.
pretend that he's had some good life loves so that I don't feel like
Yeah.
he's lonely.
And we're jumping ahead, but at the end he does say, like, you know, who can say they've had a
Yeah.
more interesting life?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they've had a good life.
All they need is each other.
So true. So he, Dr. Morgan's convinced, obviously, that it wasn't a suicide. So he just decides to go to the bridge. Nothing can go
What
wrong.
else would he do?
It's fine.
Was
He's
he
riding
gonna
riding a bike on the middle of a bridge. He goes down. I don't know how he got down there to like underneath the bridge, kind of. There's 2 sets of footprints.
wiggles down.
Wiggles down. And there's a, I don't know what you call those, like
A little harness thing.
like a rock climbing
the
clamp.
carabiner thing.
Yeah, that's what it's called. So obviously 2 people were there, but of course he slips and falls and dies.
Well, no, he pulls himself up, and then he gets hit by a car when he gets.
Oh, that's what happened. That's right.
You're like, yes, he's safe, and then he gets up there and gets hit by
They
a
totally
car.
faked us out with that.
Yeah, but he saw those claw marks, and he saw
Yeah.
all of the.
And we're wondering what happens with his body when he dies. So we know that he disappears.
Yeah.
But where do his clothes go?
That's
as you
what
were
I said.
saying.
There's just a bunch of clothes in the bottom of that
water.
what is that? The Hudson
The
River
Hudson
he
River,
comes out of?
yeah.
It's a lot of clothes in the Hudson River. So they get into this investigation. They go to her school because she is a student. She is about to leave for Paris to go study in Paris, the victim. And she's working on this codex with this professor. And they're about to publish this paper. So they're just trying to get some backstory on her. And they see her scarf at the professor's place, which means they were having an affair, obviously.
I kind of thought that in the beginning. I was like, she's totally having an affair with her
That's
professor.
always what happens.
Yeah.
They had a huge age difference, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what part of him was she like, oh, yeah.
He was a genius,
Yeah,
guys. He was a genius.
Yeah, but, I mean, he was also kind of a dick.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much. But he steals a pen that he had in his mouth, so he has his DNA on it. And there was a skin cell underneath the victim's fingernail. They match. So this dude does not look good. Like, he's guilty.
He's in trouble.
And then they go visit the wife. She is lying.
She was acting so sketchy. Like, I did not trust her for a minute.
And neither did he.
Yeah.
He just lays, he's like, the programs and then the dust on the photos. He just like, you can't keep up.
Yeah.
You
Can
can't fight
Imagine,
back.
like, being as observant as he is.
He's
Yeah.
awesome.
I did
Call your friends out and everything. Well, because you didn't answer my call and
I know you did
So
this
funny, yeah.
because there's not
Yeah.
dust on this.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I liked when he went
night-
to go visit the wife, though. When he goes into that house, he's like, it's been a long time. So there's some
Yeah.
history in places that he's going as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only the observations and like his intelligence.
he said something about there's a family resemblance that he knew that the house had been passed down. So I thought that it was Abigail's family's house.
I thought maybe it was too,
But-
or he knew one of her ancestors
Yeah.
that had lived there.
Yeah, but they never said anything about that later on, and I feel like we would have learned this episode because they're probably not coming back.
No.
So
Yeah, it was
Maybe not.
interesting. So then we learned Browning was not at the opera, like he said. The wife said he was not there. And so he gets taken into questioning. Something happens with like a skin condition, but basically a lawyer shows up. Did you catch the skin condition?
Yeah, so he had the handcuffs around his wrist and there was like red, so it looked like he had a skin condition. And he's like, take off your shirt. Like,
he wanted
no.
to see if there was
confused.
scratch marks on his
On his-
back to show that
Oh.
they had like crazy wild sex before she left, and that's why she had his skin, because he said he really believed that he loved her.
And he didn't want to put
And
an
he-
innocent guy behind bars.
Yeah.
All right.
And then Detective, what's his name? Hansen. It's all like, oh, he's going to jail, whatever. Like, you put him
Thanks to
there.
you. Yeah.
You did it.
Hansen.
Do
Dig a
your
little
job.
deeper.
I know, Hanson. Be a
What?
good detective.
He's just like, yeah, he did it. He did it.
It's fine. It's fine. But then we learn that now he's dead. Because he
Suicide.
suicide.
Because everyone's either suicidal or having heart attacks. That's the
It's-
detective's answer
It's a common theme.
for everything.
Hey, they're busy in New York.
The New York detectives need to take another course in
Yeah. Especially Hansen,
Yeah.
first one on the list.
But I have to admit, I'm learning a lot from Henry Morgan, just like
Yeah.
with the observations. Like,
Yeah.
the guy is left-handed because the T is crossed going upwards. I was like, I never noticed that. Like, you can learn a lot from
Oh,
this guy.
so much.
I'm like never gonna remember that though.
Yeah.
But even like the he slit his wrist.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly, but like the way the cut went in or out to in
Out
or
to
in to
yeah.
out, whatever, it was the wrong direction. I just love when he like gets on his ramp.
Yes.
And he just like owns the room. There's like
Love it.
20 cops and he's just like, well, this, and this. So
And Martinez is so proud detective.
Yeah.
She's like, that's right. He's never been wrong.
yeah.
I just mostly like it because he's talking for a long time.
And the accent.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just keep going.
So they realize it's not actually a suicide. They go to watch some security footage. They see the wife come in, which we were discussing how we don't
thought it
know
was
where
the
that
wife.
kind of
was
played
that
in.
before he died? Was it after he died?
Never resolved.
No, maybe she felt bad about everything that had happened, so she wanted to go see him because he just got off on bail.
Right.
She wanted to be like, I love you. I don't care that you had an affair. We should resolve things. We'll just say that that's what happened.
Okay, and then she went home, and then he was killed. But then Morgan goes into the room where the codex is.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how he knew that guy would come in. I still don't know his name.
Yeah.
The other
creepy
student.
little
Blonde student. We'll
The
call
blonde
him
student,
blonde
the
male
jealous
student.
jealous blonde student.
jealous blonde student.
I don't know how he knew he was going to come in there because he was just like lurking in the shadows waiting.
Yeah.
But he kind of confronts him. 'cause
He knows everything.
He knows everything. He can predict the future, let's just be honest. He confronts the blonde student, jealous man. And at first, the guy is like, dude, what are you talking about? I didn't do, like, that's crazy. He calls him a crazy dude. Like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, wait, this guy kind of knows.
He's onto him.
He's on to me.
And then he sees his little paper
Box
letter
cutter,
opener.
yeah.
Or was it a box cutter?
Exacto
It was
knife.
a knife.
Yeah, and he was so concerned about dying on camera because, oh my gosh, my body's going to disappear. At least if you're going to kill me, take me in the corner so nobody sees.
I wonder what would happen if it would happen on camera, or if the mysterious thing that happens with him would kind of black those out.
Yeah, I have a prediction, but I'll hold off for that for a second. They see him on the security cameras with the X-Acto knife. Hansen and Martinez come to the rescue. They shoot him because that's what detectives do when someone's being threatened. And case closed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good little mystery. I was kind of I did call it. I said it was another student, but I did not know for a while. I like when they keep me guessing.
Yeah. It was pretty neck and neck there until the very end.
Yeah.
The wife ran in, and you're like, it was the wife, and then the student. It was neck and neck.
And I love it when we were watching that you were like, that's too easy. It's not the one.
It's not the one. That's too easy.
That's true, because looking back, she was trying to make their marriage work, so she probably wouldn't have killed him.
Right. She was lying to the cops
save
for
him, yeah.
So
And I
she
do feel like we're going to come back to her because I think we will go back to that house and figure out
think?
what's going on
Interesting.
there.
All right. Okay, so that was the case, but quick thing, the Adam, which we find out his name at the end, put a present on Dr. Morgan's desk in the middle of the episode, said, I'm a big fan. I should have wrote it down.
He
My
says,
condolences.
My condolences to your death. He saw him jump off the bridge, and then he calls him again at the end of the episode. I wonder if that's going to be a recurring thing, because every episode seems to end with a phone call from this
Right.
guy.
But he's been alive for what, 2,000 years?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
2,000 years ago, what was going on then?
That's why he calls himself Adam.
Yeah.
But yeah, he calls Morgan a child because he's only 200.
So young.
I don't know where they're taking this storyline.
He sounds older too. Like, I think that he is gonna be in his 50s or 60s. The
Yeah.
Adam, and he's even said, "Oh, you care because you're such a child." He's kind of evil now because he's learned how to not care.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know if he's actually putting Dr. Morgan in danger. like, is he like going to kill? You can't kill him because he's just going to come back to life. Is he like threatening exposure, or does he really just want to learn from him? I don't know his motivation. It's just like for fun.
I think it's a game. He's been around 2,000 years. What else is he supposed to do?
He's just bored.
I think he has double motives. That one, if he finds out a way to die because Dr. Morgan is a doctor, then he can go along with that. Or he thinks that it's kind of a game and he's just, because he sounds evil, and I think he's evil.
Or he's eternally socially awkward.
Maybe.
True.
He's just an awkward guy.
It was 2,000 2,000 years ago, so that's pretty different social standards.
This generation, who knows? It's hard. It's hard.
Like back in my day, we called people with creepy stuff all the time.
That was normal.
Totally. Before we get into predictions, I just want to remind you guys to go to iTunes. So many good shows that we do after shows for. Give this show 5 stars. 5. We'd really appreciate it. There's so much with the start of fall season. So many new shows. So many returning great shows. So definitely check it out. But now I think we should get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm always ready to start raving at this point.
We're ready. I guess let's just go around the horn. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, with the Adam character, they're gonna meet, but it's gonna be way later, and there's gonna be a lot more toying. But I do think that like every episode's gonna end with a phone call and some kind of creepy little nugget of information.
Right.
But I don't think we'll meet him for real
Not
for
a
quite
while.
some time.
Okay.
And as far as the relationship with Detective Martinez, it does seem like they have chemistry and that they might go with something of them kind of hooking up. But I did read something where they said that they weren't planning on doing this will they won't they kind of thing, and just letting them be friends and coworkers, because
Good.
she's mourning her husband and he's still mourning his 94-year-old maybe not dead honey.
I have a prediction to go off of that. Since she's all mourning her husband still, and he's in mourning also, I think they'll kind of relate to each other once, he told her, and she kind of knows that he lost someone that he cares about because he had told her the story of the pocket watch. So I think that they're going to kind of lean on each other in times of need when they're, missing, and they're going to get really close. And I think that right when they're ready to take their relationship to the next level and she finds out his secret and she's like, meet me in the top of the Empire State Building, because that always seems to happen, or something crazy like that, that Abigail is going to show up and be like, I'm dying for real now, and I wanted to see you before I died.
Take note.
Oh my gosh.
I should be a professional writer.
You should.
As fun as that would be, I kind of hope they just keep them platonic, just because it's fresh.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I think they'll end up falling in love. And I think Abe will be so for it. Because, he's never...
He wants him to be happy.
Yeah, you need to get close to someone. I think that he'll tell her the secret, but I don't really know if I trust her. I don't know. Not yet. Not that she can keep the secret. And then I think Abe's going to go on a lot more eHarmony dates.
I hope
he goes on more eHarmony dates. Going off of that, I think we were talking about him, he didn't want to die on camera. I think something's going to happen where, I don't know if it's going to be he's caught on camera, someone sees, but that's how Martinez is going to find out, because she's going to help him cover it up.
Yeah.
And he's going to go to her and say, this is what happened, I need your help. And then she finds out the truth about him, and that brings them even closer, which I don't like you said, when shows do the if the will they, won't they, it kind of drives me nuts after a while. And obviously you can't just get together, that ruins the show. So hopefully, like you said, they'll keep it kind of professional for a while, because I think that they're both learning a lot from each other. But we'll see. Many more episodes to come. Where can we find you guys on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MaryLouMandel.com. MaryLouMandl, because it's spelled weird. Thank my mom.
I spell mine every time.
You can find me on Twitter at Kristen Strange and on Instagram at Kristen Aubrey Strange.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Pega Rad. So PEGAH Rad.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kate Aquilano. My last name is Aquillano. I know it's really difficult. But thanks, guys. This was a great first show. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you come back next week. Same time, same place. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.